Hi guys.
Hi, we're Cesar and Pam with cesarandpam.com.
Grow your business without losing your soul, your family, or your health. So as many of you know, thank you for logging in. We have a business, an internet business in the travel industry, and our passion is to help people that are super focused on their business and on their career to grow their business without losing their soul, their family, or their health in the process. Because many times we go grow our business and at the end of getting to the top, we realize that we lost the stuff that we said we were doing it for, the people that we say we were doing it for. And we don't want that to happen to you. So during these lives, we talk about different aspects, the spiritual aspect, your relationship with God, relationships, your marriage, your parenting, your health. Last week we talked about that. And this week, we're going to talk about finances. We're going to start a series on that. And a lot of the material we're going to share from is based on Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. So somebody we follow for 20 years now. It's been a huge help to get it started on our finances when we moved here from Mexico 20 years ago.
Yeah, he talks about how we operate with our finances is 20% your knowledge and 80% your behavior. Like where you're at financially has to do 20% with what you know and 80% is what you're actually doing. And I was thinking when I read that, wow, I'm thankful that when we got married 30 years ago, we didn't have any money. So we went to live in Mexico and we just lived with the little that we made, you know, and we made, we didn't have any credit, so we couldn't use credit cards. You know, in Mexico, you can't buy a house with a fixed interest.
Back then, I don't know what it's like right now. But.
Yeah, well, then we couldn't, and so it wasn't an option. You know, we didn't have enough money, but we just used the money we had, and we only bought things if we could afford it. And wow, I'm so thankful we didn't get into debt.
Yeah. We're going to share with you some concepts here that might be a little controversial, maybe a little too simplistic. Aristotle said, to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. Also, Benjamin Franklin said, those convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. So we don't want to try to convince you of what we've done, what we're trying to do in our lives, but we want to help you consider some aspects of your life of how you could improve. Because like I said on the video, maybe you are buried in debt right now. Or maybe not. Maybe you are doing okay financially, seemingly, because you make good income, but at the end of the month, you have no idea where the money went. We want to help you figure out what the problem is. And then number two, we're going to help you. We're going to give you a map to show you how to get to financial freedom long term. And anything that is worthwhile is not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. You might be thinking right now that you're pretty good you're in a good financial situation right now. It's just like marriage, you know, or parenting. Sometimes we feel like we're in a crisis, you know, in our marriage or with our children. There's a crisis going on and we're very aware of it. But other times, you know, we go to a marriage retreat or something and seminar, and we think we're doing all right, and we listen and we realize, wow, there's some ways we can grow. There's some things we can change to have a better relationship. And I think it's that with finances. Right now, what's happening in our world with the pandemic, you know, people losing their jobs. There might be people listening right now who are in crisis. And you know that finances, like that's what's stressing you out. That's what's on your mind. And that's what it's just the thing right now, you know. And there's other people who are very thankful that they still have their jobs, you know. That's our situation. Cesar's still working. But you are aware, like we started reading this book again, listening to Dave Ramsey again and going, you know what, we have some areas we could do better, you know? And so I think no matter where you're at, like you can get something out of this.
Yeah, so don't think that the ideas we're going to share with you are too simplistic. This first live of 30 minutes is going to be helping you to be aware of the situation where you're at. 80% of the solution is behavior. I think did you already say that? Okay. So point number one, 80% of the solution is behavior, 20% is knowledge. So don't think that you have to be too sophisticated. And here's another tip. Don't take advice from broke people. If you go to a gym, don't pay a trainer who's fat. If you are looking for marriage advice, don't take advice from somebody who's been divorced 3 times. Go to somebody who has the result that you like to have. Says here, a quote from this book, behavior intelligently viewed takes into account the emotional, relational, the family history, the socioeconomic impacts, and the spiritual impact as well. So because 80% of your problem is behavior, we're going to focus heavily on that. We live today in a society that is in love with complicated solutions and is in love worshiping materialism and status. Status is wanting to buy things with money you don't have to impress people that you don't know, and maybe you don't even like. And I have news for you. Those people that you think you're impressing, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. So write this down. You need to start focusing on what you can provide and start, like Abraham says, living your age. I mean, your wage. Living your wage.
Your age.
Act your, you know how that saying, act your age?
Act your age.
Act
Live
your wage. Yeah. Honey, you remember the story of the 3 little pigs? Who,
Yeah, I do.
Tell us.
And the big bad wolf.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, well, there were 3 little pigs, and they had to go build their houses. And gosh, it's been a long time since I thought about the 3 pigs. But one of them I know built his house out of straw, and that was pretty quick and really fast. He could get that done. And the other one said, "Ooh, I'm going to build it out of sticks." And then the 3rd pig said, "No, I'm going to build it out of bricks." And that took longer. So the other 2, I think they're kind of like, why is he working so hard? It's taking him so long, you know, making all those bricks and building that house. But along comes the big bad wolf, and the pigs are hiding in their houses. And the big bad wolf comes to the house built of straw, and he says, "Let me in." And the little pig says, "Not by the hair on my chin, chin, chin." And so the big bad wolf says, "I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow the house down." And he did. And there goes the house of straw, and that little pig, you know, well, depending on the book, he either gets eaten or he runs to his friend's house, right? Depends on how bad and drastic the book is. Anyway, so then it goes to the one with the sticks, and same thing. He huffs and he puffs and he blows the house down. And then he goes to the 3rd little pig, who's in the brick house, who took a lot more time to build his house. and the wolf huffs and puffs, but he can't blow the house down.
Mm-hmm. And today we need to learn from this crisis. The big bad wolf is out there right now. And just like it happened in 2008 with the subprime mortgage bubble, if you remember that, we remember 2008 came, and they created these mortgages for people who couldn't afford them, really. Mm-hmm. They have variable interest. They were called subprime mortgages. And big shocker when they started selling thousands of these mortgages, and people who were broke should really not be living in that house, defaulted on their payments. And they said, "Sorry, we can't pay anymore." And the greedy bankers freaked out, and they ended up with all these houses they couldn't get rid of. Actually, the house that we're living in, we got from the bank 10 years ago in the year 2010. And we paid a 1/3 less, about $100,000 less than we should have paid, because the builder had gone bankrupt. So if I'm going to give you a quick tip right here, if you have stability in your life, if you can use this current crisis we're living in right now to learn something through some of the principles we're going to share with you, you will be better prepared for when the next crisis, the next storm, the next big bad wolf comes. You can actually take advantage and profit from it.
The Bible says, you know, the wise man built his house upon the rock, and the foolish man built his house on the sand. So then when the storms came, the house on the sand didn't last, but the house built on the rock, really, it can withstand the storm.
Yes. So when that crisis took place 12 years ago, the stock market started panicking. People stopped buying. And I'm going to